we continue with my very short slides, how to get best out of the EURAXESS mentoring program, specifically shape the future of a researcher coming to Europe. And I think that the answer is simple. I don't know whether you think different from me, but you can express your opinion in the chat. I think you have to be active. Just with a few words about the program. Currently, we have 700 and almost 60 researchers registered from different parts of the world, pretty much equal, a bit more female, and almost 160 mentors, pretty much equally spread between male and female. Working couples and those that already finished their work are 157. These are just few numbers for you. Google Analytics says that the number of visits increase every month. Currently, they are 755, 25, the highest number of visits per country. Those that are in dark color are actually most active countries in visiting our mentoring webpage. This is it, the mentoring webpage, and you please make sure you register if you would like to take part of it. If the whole presentation today and the whole seminar showed you that you can benefit from participation in the mentoring program. What happens after the registration? Most of the mentors wait, and this is reasonable to a certain extent, because they are mentors and actually the mentee has to be the active side and the mentee has to ask a mentorship. But there are mentors that manage within the first year to have 5 and even 7 mentees for this 1 year period, which means that they had more than one mentee at a time. This shows very high dedication, but there are many that had none. And this is due to the fact that no one requested their mentorship, or they didn't request any mentorship from the mentees, which is more peculiar, much more peculiar and strange, that most of the mentees also wait. I cannot understand why, but this is not reasonable. If you want to have a mentor, you have to do a step. You have to prepare for it. There are mentees that had, you understand, with 760 people in the program and 160 mentors, it is not possible for everyone to have a mentor. Yes, it's true, but one of the, not one, but several mentors had 7 mentees, which means that they are open. They are waiting for you to contact them and to start your mentorship. And there are mentees that make quite a good benefit from the program that have more than 3 mentors. And there are other that registered at the beginning and still have no mentee, no mentor. After the registration, what happens? What actually should happen? The mentee has to explore the functionalities, to look at the search engine, to use the safe search option, and to request a mentorship, at least 2 at a time, because not all of the mentees are, the mentors are available at the moment and can answer positively. If more than one answer positively, I will follow up with the instruction. But in any case, you have to ask mentorship at least from 2. Then you have to prepare for the first meeting. And this is right after your registration. What does it mean to prepare? You have to have a short CV. You have to be ready to talk about your research interests, motivation, difficulties, problems that you have in order to get support from your mentor. And in order to prepare for this, you need to think on, to sit down and to write down some of your questions, some of your difficulties, etc. You have to draft your mentoring plan and to send it in advance to your mentor. Even before the requested mentorship is answered, you have to have this draft ready, because once you get this approval from the mentor to take you on board, you have to send him immediately your proposal for a mentoring plan. Also, you have to list your questions to the mentor in order not to forget anything important at the first meeting. We propose 6 topics, and actually we give you an option to choose at least 3 and add topics that are of your interest and that you consider that the mentor would help you with this. So think on possibly adding several topics by your interest. Drafting your mentoring plan, how it happens. For instance, for topic publication and presentations, you can list, I give you here several options for questions, but you can, of course, prepare more. And if you want to be prepared, you have to be ready with such questions for each of the topics that you would like to include in your draft mentoring plan. What happens then? Your mentorship is approved and your mentor is ready to meet you. You have to be prepared to present yourself and your interests. You better send your CV in advance, and at the meeting you present very shortly and present your interests, especially in the area that you would like to talk with the mentor. Make sure you ask all of your questions in order to get the mentor opinion and advice on that, even at the first meeting. Discuss the proposal mentoring plan and agree with your mentor on possible adjustments to the plan if needed. Make sure that your mentor is able to provide you with everything that you wanted, and if he or she is not able to provide you, make sure you understand well what she or he is able to provide and how you can get benefit from it. Make clear what you have to prepare for the next meeting. Agree on the date and the time for the next meeting, and by this you will be much more prepared next time. I planned here to have a short exercise on preparation of draft mentoring plan. These are the 6 predefined topics, and you can choose, but please make sure at least 3 of them, and then prepare at least 1 question to each of these topics. for this exercise, I would rather give you, okay, not full 10 minutes because the time is advancing and we didn't have a break, but at least 5 minutes to think. If you need more time, just let me know in the chat. Also, if you have questions to me, don't worry and don't hesitate to ask. I see your comments in the chat. Focus now on preparation of a drafting of a mentoring plan. This is just an exercise. It's not an actual mentoring plan, but make sure you think on that. Okay, but Sandra, you have to have 6 topics in one mentoring plan. So you choose these 3. However, you need to add. I see you added networking, but you need in total 6 topics. So think on preparing some more plus a question to each of the topics. I know publications and presentations are the most liked topic by everyone, and almost everyone puts this in their mentoring plan once they have a mentor. But think on other possible topics that are of high interest for you. Okay. Well-being is a perfect topic because all of the researchers, especially those that are at early stage of their career, experience a huge stress at the beginning of the PhD studies. And this is always an important point. How you can lower the levels of the stress, what you can do to improve your well-being at the moment, because the numbers of mental problems in research community rise every year. and there is a Remo cost action. You know, some of you participated in this webinar. Okay, good. If someone of you is ready, you can unmute your microphone and share with us, even your camera if you'd like, and share with us what are your thoughts on the 6 possible topics, and show us the most important question that you managed to prepare. Not sure, but tell us. Who would dare to share their question and their topics? Okay, I see the topics more or less, but at least one question that you would like to ask your mentor related to any of the topics. If you would not like to talk or to open your camera. Okay, I see Noelia wrote it in the chat. It's also an option to write in the chat your question. But these are pretty much topics, Noelia. What about the question? What would you ask your mentor? Imagine I am your mentor. What would you ask me about smart materials, for instance? Good question. What is the career options for history outside academia? Great. This means we made you think on possibilities outside academia. This is very good. Thank you, Shripad.
Svetlana, I have a question.
Please.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yes, this is related to career counseling. So my question, if you were my mentor or if somebody else was my mentor, would be, what is the best way to make an interdisciplinary career move from pure psychology to neuroscience?
Okay, thank you. This is an important question. And you make sure you ask your mentor about that? Or you already, because I know you have a mentor. Did you ask it?
No.
Not yet? Make sure you ask next time.
Yes. For maybe my second mentorship program, I think this will definitely be a question I'll ask.
Okay, thank you very much, Priscilla.
Thank you.
I have another question in the chat. Things related to mobility and adaptation to life in different countries. If you don't have this, didn't have this opportunity before to move outside your country, this is very important question, but also related to it is a question about the, sorry, about the different research systems. You have to ask your mentor about how the research system works in his country. Because the research systems in Europe are pretty much similar, but not equally arranged. And in your countries, it might be totally different. Even in Europe, there are differences, but with third countries, we definitely have differences in the research systems. Okay, we finish with the exercises for today, and my next slide is about the mentors. If there are any mentors, I suppose there are, because some of you answered that you are at the career stage for becoming a mentor. Then after the registration, you do pretty much similar steps as the mentees do. So you have to explore the functionalities, and if you would like to start as soon as possible your mentorship, you have to use the searching engine and save search option. Then request the mentorship from at least 2 mentees at a time in order to see whether they are all available. They might have no mentor at the moment, but they might be not available at the moment. It depends on their schedules and their plans, etc. Then you have to prepare for the first meeting. What means to prepare for a mentor? Again, you have to have short CV. Otherwise, you cannot explain to your mentee what exactly is your experience. Be ready to talk about your research interests, your experience, and what exactly you can provide to your mentee. What are your abilities to support the young researcher? Whether you have some information important for his or her career to share, some sources of information and material, some conferences, some opportunities for publishing, or even I know definitely that in the mentoring program, we do have such a case for joint publications between the mentor and the mentee, prepared within the mentoring program. Mark which of the predefined topics and subtopics you are able to cover and which new topics you would suggest to the mentee that you think that might be useful for them, because they might not know what could be useful for them at the point of starting of the mentorship. Prepare some arguments why they are important, so important for this specific researcher. List your questions to the mentee in order not to forget anything important. Then at the first meeting, you again, like the mentee, present yourself shortly, present your interests and abilities to support. Ask all questions that you are interested to learn about the mentee and about his or her interests. Discuss with the mentee their proposal for mentoring plan and make sure that you agree on the suggestions you can make at this point and agree on adjustments of the mentoring plan if needed, any adjustment. Make clear that you can, what you can and what you cannot do for him, because there might be some points of his interest that you cannot provide. This have to be very clear already at the first meeting. Make clear to the mentee what he or she has to prepare for the next meeting, because if don't give them any task to do for the next meeting, they would just appear and ask you questions. Agree on the date and the time, of course, this is very important, but we just need to remind you about that. And to both groups, mentors and mentees, consider and discuss during not only the first meeting, but during all of the meetings, intercultural differences between your and her on his culture. Discuss research system differences in your countries or in the countries that you have experience in. Organizational culture differences. These are the culture of your university or your research center. Discuss personality specifics. Discuss your psychological and emotional aspects of your communication. These are very, very important points, and you never please forget about this. And especially follow the ethical principles of the mentoring program. Everything has to be confidential between you and your mentee or your mentor. And anything that go public has to have a written agreement before that. And last but not least, mentoring builds global research community. It is successful when both sides are active, not only one of the sides. It's always a win-win outcome because everyone gets something positive, can get something positive if they are active in this relationship. And mentoring helps researchers to advance faster in their career. It opens the doors of the networking and cooperation and definitely make career choices better. So if we make this in pictures, we start with the first meeting. You never had a mentor or a mentee. We start with the first meeting. We go through assistance. We interconnect through our activities during the mentoring program. We achieve the career growth by that. And we finally become even friends. So thank you very much. I see here something in the chat. Let me answer before I stop for today. This is just Shripad, this is a question about how do you shift research with digital humanities? Okay. Okay. So there are no questions related to what I presented recently. Here is our contacts, our LinkedIn groups. So don't hesitate to contact us or to join any of these LinkedIn groups and to stay in touch with us.